Okay, so this link, this little link here, this is a link to my image reference. I'm going to be drawing an engine block because I've got one fellow who's got an artist block, and I have another person who wants to know how to deal with sketches, how to take a sketch and make it into something that is finished and beautiful and all that. So I figured I'd probably kill two birds with one stone. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a box that is roughly the same size as that engine block. I'm going to try and find a box that can contain the engine block. Alright, now I have to subdivide this. I have to break this down. So I'm not really trying to copy the picture. I'm copying the forms that are inside the picture. So okay, let's subdivide this. So I've noticed at the top we've got, here we are. I'm trying to find, minus those two cylinder heads. Here, I'll just drag this over. Okay, so there you have it. You can see the, just setting this up so I can easily Alt-Tab between the two. Okay, that's better. All right, so yeah, now you can see the two. All right, so there's we got this kind of these two kind of ears on the top, and then right here there's like a flat region where it goes up. So I want to find where that flat region is. I'm trying to find all the major divisions of this engine block. So that's what this kind of platform is. This is me just taking that, and maybe I can kind of hack this down. All right, I'm trying to find kind of halfway across. There's from this corner to the other corner. Get that. What else we got? The whole thing kind of has this Y shape. Right, so what you have to do, or what I am trying to do, I don't even know if this is going to be the right way to go about it, but I'm trying to find the biggest things. I'm trying to look through all these little doodads and not see the doodads, not draw the doodads, not yet anyway, and just try to get, the big stuff that the doodads are attached to, which is hard. So this is great. I can just Alt-Tab back and forth, and pretty much every time that I Alt-Tab, on this thing, and you can tell exactly when I'm looking at it. So plus I can look, at various features, and I can point out, so. All right. So anyway, this is kind of getting there. There's also this, let's get that big ear on the side. Yeah, that's good. Now it's corresponding to the top of that box that I drew in the first place. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm just flipping back and forth again. I just want to see, what do I do next? So yeah, how does this get you past a drawing block or an artist block? Well, I tell you this much, this is a really hard exercise to do, or it could be a very relaxing exercise depending on how you look at it. If it's a very hard exercise, I'll guarantee you that when you're done, everything will seem a whole lot easier. I'm just going to cut that in half, find the divisions here. So I'm just, gradually, now I'm going into cutting up these big forms. And maybe what I should do is I should get that crown, the alternator. I believe that's what it's called. I don't really know much about engines. I have only a hardly even passing knowledge of car guts. I'm sure someone else will come along and enlighten us. I think this is where all the Well, wait, no. I used to think that's, yeah, I guess that is where the spark plugs, no, the spark plug's going on top of a cylinder, but that is probably, that's the distributor, maybe not the alternator. It's the distributor that you'll have several cables that plug into all the individual spark plugs. And alternator, distributor, I get the two mixed up. I'm not really sure. But anyway, all the pins, are maybe about that high. Okay, so what else do we have? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I should probably just count the tips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 going around, and there's 1 in the middle, which I guess is kind of like a common ground. All right, so we've got these other kind of big divisions here. We've got this big cluster of, and the worst part about this cluster is that it's not square shapes, it's all kind of rounded shapes. But there is one, kind of big circular landmark down there. Maybe I should get that. Maybe I'll move it higher. Okay, so there's a slant right there, right? See that slant? I'm trying to get that slant in there. This doesn't even go in that far. It only goes up to about there. That doesn't even go that far back. Probably goes to about here. Right, so I'm just making adjustments right now. There are, the initial sketch is obviously just an approximation, but as you work, you're going to find, oh, this is off or that's off, and so you just have to fix those areas up. Okay. I'm still judging, I'm still going back and forth just to see if I got it right. See if I misjudged. I still think I think I've probably misjudged. I'm going to move that over. Right, so a lot of people do life drawing with people. They should probably try doing life drawing with engine blocks. If I had a real one, I'd be doing it right now. That's the problem with photographs, is that, they can be deceiving. There's a nice little landmark. This goes dead smack. See that? Dead smack in the middle of that wheel. That whole kind of lip right there. I could have just sped this up. But for the guy I'm doing this with, the problem was all of the videos out there that show how to do this stuff, they all speed them up, and you don't really get to see just what goes on. Because, this is not snazzy and cool or interesting. It's not, fast and pretty or anything like that. It's just very slow, kind of laborious. Really only fun for the person who's drawing it, and I wouldn't say I'm exactly thrilled right now. I'm actually kind of slightly terrified. Just because, I mean, this is a really hard job, and I got a whole bunch of people watching right now. But you know, if you're slightly terrified, if you're not sure of yourself, you just gotta push through it. Just get yourself a nice big glass of deal with it and drink it down. Okay, let's see. Now what is this thing attaching to? Because I just feel like it's kind of going off to the side. Alright, let's see. Let's take 2. I gotta draw the thing that it's attached to. Right? I don't think that's something that they ever teach us how to do. They say, here's how to do landscapes, here's how to do people, here's how to do... They never say, here's how to draw an engine block. Here's how to draw something that is just ridiculous and intricate. Like for every single line, I'm having to flip back and forth. I think I'm flipping too much. It just feels so... It's like, I don't know, I've just kind of gotten into this rhythm right now, and I can't not flip just because I don't know what all these parts do. You know, that's just the thing. It's like this object is completely foreign to me. I think if you were to draw a human form, a human figure, you know, you can rely on memory somewhat, and you don't have to keep doing things. You can kind of bridge things together, and you know what looks right. But when you're dealing with an engine block, everything is new, and as a result, you know, I have to flip back and forth all the time. Right, so I'll say right off the bat that taking on something completely new, learning something new, for me at least, isn't exactly fun. You know, it's like it's only after I've gone through the trouble of deciphering it and understanding it that it becomes easier, and I could call and at that point I can truly call the experience enjoyable. Right now, it's all just kind of like I'm looking at it and my brain's going, I don't know what. Blah, blah. It's just, yeah. I don't know how to engine. Okay, so let's see. I'm just checking to make sure that the recording light's still on. Last thing I want to do is finish this thing and then find out, you know, the recording broke. Okay. dealing with this little thingamabob in there. Another kind of, it's just some kind of port that looks like it needs to hook up to something else. And there's this little I want to deal with those things in there. So I should probably just, look at the whole thing as a group and then split up the group rather than trying to do one little doodad and then another little doodad. What else we got? We got this little kind of little cluster of doodads. Maybe I'll just do the same thing. It's like I'll just kind of mass it in and then split that up. Maybe I can do some more kind of major cuts, split that up. You see, this kind of stuff is like I can't really rely on some pre-cooked patterns now. It's like it's this is one of those things. It's like it's just not to say that there aren't any patterns here. It's just this thing is a little beyond my ken. Yes, such things do exist. Many things do exist. All you have to do is go looking for them, and they're right there. If you ever feel like you're top of the world, by the way, if you ever feel like, oh yeah, I'm confident, I know what to do, I'm awesome, I'm a great artist, get yourself an engine block, and then we'll see how well you do. So I'd say the engine blocks are probably the great humiliator. We've got this little thing here. That's like a pipe that's kind of wrapped around something. I want to find out how that thing attaches, but well, there's kind of an attachment point here. The elbow of the pipe is there, but that goes behind something else. There's another pipe here, so I want to see if I can maybe get that pipe in there to nestle in there. That's better. Funny, it's like it's gradually, the more that I work at this thing, the more I feel like I kind of gain some familiarity with it. Okay, so there's these like covers. There's some covers of some sort up there, and there's like a little hole in that. Okay, I want to figure out how those covers bolt on. Right now, I'm not really zooming in a whole lot. I'm doing everything all from this one view. I haven't really zoomed in, panned around. Obviously, some things have shifted. Proportions aren't perfect. I can see there's like a surface plane. There's these little kind of cuts. I'm trying to cut this thing the same way, and I'm just looking back and forth and trying to achieve those same cuts. Got a hole in there. Putting a little bit of shading in that hole just so that I know it's a hole, and you know it's a little depression. And because if I just leave it as a circle, you know, I'll forget what that thing was, and I'll forget to go in later. See, I got to do the same for the other side. I got to do some more cuts, and right now it's like I'm just. You see that? It's like I would move the pencil up and down, right? But I'm not actually drawing. I'm just kind of looking at this and I'm just kind of gauging when I do that. Yeah, I think it's like that. And we've got these little, those 10 things, 10 bolts. So I'll do the end ones. I'll do the one in the middle. And I'll subdivide and do these other. Okay, so thank goodness it was an odd number of bolts. Now in between there's the I'm sure that out there's some car mechanic out there who's just like, he doesn't know, he's got it wrong. Sorry, really, I'm so sorry in advance. But I mean, come on, it's an engine block. Give me a break. In fact, I don't think these holes are tall enough. I should probably raise them up a bit. And there's like little pairs of holes beside each one. I'll do the far one, then the near one. All right, let's get those bolts going. And I gotta sink that down. All right, I can see right now that this canister is, well, that's the oil, I guess. Oh, that's the oil filter. That, you know, it's supposed to be lined up like that. Mine's not lined up the same way. I don't think the oil filter needs to be moved. I think it's just this part here that needs to be raised up. That's where I screwed up. There we go. Yeah, I can see on there. I can see the errors of my ways. Okay, now I can get the other hole in there. So, why draw an engine block? What will we get out of this horrible, horrible exercise? Well, for one thing, if you are having trouble with taking basic sketches and making them finished and detailed, the engine block is nothing but detail. I mean, it's all about dealing with detail, and if detail's a problem you're having, then I think you should think you're due for an engine block. Also, if you find that, you're not satisfied with your result after your first attempt, start a blank page and try again. And just keep drawing the same engine block, because each time you do it, you'll have a little bit more familiarity with that same engine block. You'll really come to know it. Okay, so we've got this giant port on the top. I gotta kind of that's something I'm doing that I need to do, is not look at individual lines, but rather look at the overall form, as it relates to this whole top, and draw that instead of going for individual lines. So there's 4 of those little standoffs. Because every time you flip back and forth, there's a moment of disorientation, and that disorientation is what's going to actually ruin the drawing. Because you won't be drawing the perspective of your image, and you won't be drawing the perspective in the picture. You'll be kind of doing a half and half, and it'll be all wrong. Okay, so we got that little bridge arching around there. There's like several bridges. I want to see where that bridge attaches. Okay. Do I have it in the right place? I guess I do. Looks like I gotta move that distributor again. Yeah, I gotta move it. It's sitting in the wrong place. It's right up against that. Oh yeah, that's better. If I remember correctly, there were eight pins everywhere. So I think what I'll do is okay. Let's get these. I'll do them crosswise. Then I'll find the other ones at the 90-degree angles. Then I'll find the ones at the 45-degree angles. And then I'll put the one in the middle. And then I can fatten them up. Thank goodness, at least one of these things follows a pattern. All right, so I want to draw this little thing. It's hard to see what it's attached to. But it'd actually be easier if I didn't use a photograph, if I had a real engine block that I could walk around and be able to understand it. Okay, so what I have is a lot of these little scribbles, and none of them have been, like, they're kind of hard to read, mostly because the line weights are a little haphazard. I just want to finish up these other areas before I start messing with them. Okay, let's see. Like, there's all these little cuts and divisions and we've got that and that. I want to see where does that, attach, where is it in reference to something else? So some pieces I'm able to draw faster than others because I can tell where they are attached, or I can understand the nature of where they're constructed, of how they're constructed. All the other ones that I find that are just like little bits that are floating in the middle of nowhere, those are the hard ones. Those are the ones where I have to flip back and forth. Okay, now I can erase. Yeah. Oh, forgot the hole in the middle. Derp. Ah, yuck. Actually, I'm only going to shade the one side of that hole, not the other. We've got a bunch of other little things here, all these little areas to fill in. I have all these kind of little blank spots. This is like dealing with accounting, especially if you're dealing with corporate accounting. You ever see a CT23 form? My God, I look at them. There's English. They're written in English, but I don't understand a word of them. I need to get a chartered accountant to deal with my CT23s. Oops. There we go. Right, so there's like more bits of detail that just aren't filled in. Or maybe not detail, but parts of the engine block's construction. They're just not clear. All the rest of this stuff is just kind of disappearing into blackness. I really can't understand what's in there. I can't see it. I think I'm going to have to kind of cop out a bit. Well, not cop out a bit. I'm going to have to cop out, period. I got to get all that bits and black stuff in. Because I can't see it. Oh, hang on. I can see a little bit of that. Not much. So yeah, there are times when you'll be drawing and you just won't understand what you're looking at. I get that all the time. And there is no way that I'll understand what I'm looking at unless I, actually take a mechanics course and get up close and personal with one. I hope this is fun, watching me taking on something that is generally out of my league. Or rather, I'm out of its league. I'm trying to draw how these little reinforcements attach. I think it looks okay. Brutal. Freaking brutal. Right now I'm just, looking back and forth, looking for differences. I'm different. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to go through certain regions, especially this region right here. This region is kind of, I need to clarify it. So I have to go in there and darken some of these lines. I gotta separate the forms. I can redraw some of these pieces as well. Put them where they belong. That's looking better. Okay, so that goes in there. Now I gotta apply a little bit of shading to make that area kind of go in. Right, we got a bit of ambient occlusion going on here, so I'm dealing with that now. I can also see where I fudged some of the details. And now I'm having to reconcile the differences, moving things around. I mean, not that it's a crime to fudge the details, it's just you have to put down something. Just sometimes you put down something knowing that it's wrong just to see how it's wrong so that you can move it. Right, because it's like if you're solving a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to put all the pieces into the right places. You can't just put, you can't just take a piece out of the puzzle, out of your puzzle pile and simply, place that piece right in the right place. You just don't know. You have to throw all the pieces in the wrong places on the table and then shuffle them around and compare the pieces and find the similar pieces and stick those together and, gradually build it. This is kind of like the same thing, like dealing with a jigsaw puzzle. Bloody thing will probably wind up taking an hour or two to do. See, right now I'm not actually adding any detail. I'm just taking what's already there and trying to make it more readable and understandable. That is one thing that I guess a drawing has over a photograph, is that we can accentuate some lines and suppress others and use that as a way to make the thing more understandable. Kind of a lost art, if you ask me. So just making some parts of the metal look shiny. They're just, I wouldn't say I'm adding specular reflections. It's more like I'm leaving specular reflections, because I'm using a pen tool, which generally only makes things darker. It doesn't make things lighter unless I use the eraser. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of painting all these dark spots, but I'm leaving certain highlight areas open to make it look shiny. You know, I guess when it comes to taking a drawing and finishing it up, taking a sketch and finishing it up, it's not really like, okay, let's finish it up. It's more like, it's just you're constantly adjusting and fixing and adjusting. And there is no saying just when you're done unless you've painted a lot of engine blocks. You can't really say when you're done until you're actually done, which is either you've gotten all the details you can see or you've run out of energy. I still feel okay. I'm not tired yet. But I'm sure this video is really getting kind of long. So it would not surprise me in the slightest if a few of you have bailed out. I don't blame you. Because this shit's brutal. And it's really hard if you're just watching, it gets really boring. This is why people do all those speed ups. Why they speed up their drawings, because I guarantee that this video will probably get, I don't know, it'll probably get like it'll probably get a few hundred views, but if I were to view the analytics, I'm sure everyone's going to drop off after the first 10 minutes. There'll only be like maybe a few diehard people who really stick with it. And even then, I can't possibly imagine that you'd be awake. It's like, yeah, this is not fascinating stuff. It's just an exercise in patience. And you just got to be able to stick with it. And there is no secret in that. It's just you have to take on crazy jobs like this and stick with them as long as you can. It's kind of like a rodeo, except you're not really there's no big creature trying to throw you off its back. It's more like it's just you're trying not to fall asleep and fall off of it. Hey, if you're having trouble getting to sleep, like if you're troubled at night, I think you should probably just put this video on. It'll probably knock you right out. If you have insomnia, this is probably the perfect thing. Watch me draw an engine block. think that's another thing that's kind of tough. It's really hard to be successful doing truly instructional drawing videos because it's really hard to compete against all those cat videos. I mean, I like cats like anyone else does, but it's just, I tell you, they are my fiercest competition. They're everyone's fiercest competition on YouTube. There are tons of viral cat videos. There are no viral engine block drawing videos. Just going through and drawing those specular highlights, or rather putting in all the dark reflections and leaving behind the highlights. Going after all the major form lines and accentuating the outlines of those. Like watching grass grow. Where are your patterns now? Sorry, I just had to say it once. I could probably say another 2 or 3 times. Holy schlammoly. Just finding all these blank areas, just putting some amount of tone on them, just because they really don't look nice if I don't. You know, also you'll see there's kind of a cross, you know, there's a reflections are crossing through. I'm trying to get that. This brush metal anisotropic reflection. Oh, hey, there's holes. Oh my goodness, and they're not even there's no pattern. Well, hang on. That is across from that one. Nope, no pattern. Might as well be random. If I had known what the thing was attaching to, then great. But yeah, in this case, no, I don't really know such luck. So the stuff that you come up with, the stuff that I come up with in my imagination follows a lot of patterns. The stuff that I draw from life often doesn't have the patterns. Holy, 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 holy. Flatten that letter down a little better. There we go. ACIN. All right. I gotta make it so that they're all flush against the top. ACIN. I actually pay more attention to this insignia than most other parts. Just because I know that someone's going to be looking at it. Well, I think I'm about done. And that's the thing, is that you don't know if you're done until you suddenly say to yourself, hey, you know what? I've basically reached every single nook and cranny on this thing that I can. I can't see any ways to improve it. And then before you know it, you're done. That's just how it is. Pretty crazy, huh? Maybe I should save this. All right, done.